Hello people, and welcome back to part 32 of Noveria, our vanilla Cities Skylines snow build. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And thank you for the support on Sunday's stream. We had a wonderful time working. With about an hour, we had put together a little highway rest stop using some nice little kind of rocks as a breakwater instead of a key. Great suggestion from subscriber Rudy for this during the stream. Using one of the Japanese content creator assets alongside some ski lodges and some nice greenbelt designs. Just to sit alongside the river on the way over to Overtharia. And we also introduced a little mountain stream, which is currently drying up for some reason. I think it's just because these little water outlets are not flowing. Maybe hopefully they'll start again soon. Is it the water availability? No, they should be okay. When these flow, we do have a mountain stream available. And then we also introduced a little two-lane European stone bridge into the mountain road as well, which was a tremendously wonderful design. These things work really nicely up in the mountains. Really happy with it. And then this just flows down into our river, and then kind of joins up and details the landscape around Overtharia from last week's episode. And then we also came through into the downtown, all the way over here, and started to fill out this side of it, introducing some downtown city university assets, playing with the uniques and working with asset orientations to help continually contribute to that skyline that we're such a fan of. And we get a really nice view kind of sat here now, right? It's a really nice addition into the skyline, and it's continuing to complement to that very gradual crawling height up to P&R Street and the observation tower and the office skyscraper. So I'm really happy with this, and thank you for all the support on the stream as always. Now today I did want to work on the mountaintop research facility that's going to occupy these peaks as an actual homage to Noveria from Mass Effect, right? We're going to build Peak 15, but I haven't quite got this build figured out yet. It's quite a tricky one. So as a compromise, we are going to do the international airport instead. So we've got nice big massive land to work with. We have highway access available to us here, and then also access into the kind of faster national road network that is flowing through this part of the map. And then there's also highway access just a little bit further down this road, back onto this little slip road for the office park we built many moons ago. So, some nice ideas in store today. Nice landmass to work with up against the rivers. Let's build Noveria's international airport, shall we? Okay, so the first thing we want to do with any airport build is place the airports first themselves, because they are obviously the meat and potatoes of the build, if you like. So we're going to go with the Metropolitan Airport from Sunset Harbour. We're going to try and line this up about as straight as we can get it in this landmass. I think probably about there should be okay. Let's check this thing out. So this of course comes with the Sunset Harbour DLC. Very nice looking asset. And it's going to hold kind of two main runways for us as well. Then we'll have a look at the next one, which is the international airport. And again, I want to kind of orientate these assets so it continually expands this airfield. So why don't we maybe pop this about here? Maybe a little bit further up. About there. That should be okay, I think. Yeah, don't think I mind that. It's going to continually bring these runways together. The takeoff here might be a little bit squeaky, but we don't need to kind of worry too much about realism in Cities Skylines. Okay. And then why don't we also grab the cargo airport hub from the Industries DLC as well, if we can pop this here somewhere. So this one does want to be placed on a road first of all. So let's snap to the road guideline of the runway, and then bring this up, and hopefully this will allow us to accommodate this here. Looks like we need to be a touch shallower, so let's bring it down by another tile. Okay, so I've just decided I'm just going to move everything slightly over to the left and reposition the international airport so the runways actually align. So the thought process here is I want to make this look as though it's one continuous runway. So this would be like the main strip, right? We'll see how the planes perform. It might want shifting over slightly. And then we'll also realign the cargo airport hub as well. Just make sure that we're still aligned to those runway road guidelines. And then we can place this one just in there again. And this will also help decorate the drive by the highway too. We're seeing all these kind of grander airport terminals and the 3 air control towers now. So again, shows off the power and the love that we have for asset orientation. And we can probably bring in that unique building again as well for the aviation club to sit over this side somewhere. We'll have to find another spot for this one. So yeah, I think we'll have the aviation club sit here now. So we'll allow some smaller craft to also leave from our international airport complex as well. Now let's just trim off the road until we know exactly how the road network is going to sit around here. So with 2 major tourist drawing assets like the International Airport Hub and the Metropolitan Airport, this thing is going to need a ton of public transport. So we have metro underneath both of these assets. We come in, we can see we've got 2 lines here, and then there's 1 in the International Airport. So we'll have underground metro for sure, but I also want monorail to come in here as well, because I want to finally find an excuse to use the one-way monorail tracks, which I haven't really ever used in cities. So let's discuss some asset placement for what we want outside the Metropolitan Airport, and I think I'm feeling the Pyramid of Safety, because this is going to centralize directly outside, which is absolutely wonderful. Okay, it's going to sit nicely with that airport tower and also draw tourists into the area as well. Okay, not too bad. So we'll bring up a road either side here, and then I also want a road that's going to run parallel with the rail to hold another unique in this part of town, and this one is going to be, if I can find it, should be here somewhere. This one, the business park asset. Again, this is going to just about sit centrally, okay? This is going to be a nice kind of key feature, a nice landmark for the airport, I think, as well today. Alright, that's not too bad. Now we probably will have to readjust the rail network here because it's going to be a little bit cramped, and we definitely do want a train station in here as well. So I absolutely need to let the game play because we just ran out of money for the first time in a long time. But we'll kind of see what happens here, okay? So let's bring these roads up to the back of the business park because we do want to accommodate a monorail stop in here as well. So we'll just have the regular monorail station, and we'll crack off these 2 roads here too. And then let's place this again essentially within the orientation of the uniques, and then we'll bring these roads out, and then we can perhaps come off on a little angle here. Let's just recheck that measurement. We're at 320. There we go. That's the right configuration. Okay. Wonderful. So I think already as a selection of assets to sit comfortably alongside the international airport, we're going to be having a nice time with these here. It's already not looking too bad, is it? So let's go ahead and get that monorail hooked in. So I mentioned I do want to use the one-way monorail lines here. So let's see how we can possibly introduce these into the area. So I think we'll come with a curve road tool, and that's going to be, let's come off the road guideline as well. Let's go for a curve of 8. Okay. And then we'll just hook straight into this road network. Of course, we want to change the direction because we're right-hand traffic. And then we'll repeat that measurement out this side as well. And then straight in. So the one-way monorail tracks there, obviously thinner. I think it will complement the very kind of modern vibes that are happening outside the airport here today. Alright. So let's work on the road connection now so we can actually get some people arriving to and from. Because I need to let the game play because we're rapidly running out of money. But we do want to actually sink down the road network into the entrance. So we'll grab the height that sits in the downtown rail network, because we know this works nicely with the road heights. And then we're going to go for, yeah, let's dig out a channel that the rail lines can sit in, because there's going to be a fair amount of road network here, so we don't want the rails having to make lots of rail crossings. So this road network here is all going to be one way. We will have one way in and out of the airport. So again, lots of people driving. We don't want them to be turning around and clogging up on each other. So I think we'll go for a roundabout, and I think that's actually going to be quite a kind configuration for what we want it to look like. So I think I'm going to be happy with that. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. And then we'll connect this as monorail road. Let's bring it up, and then we want that road guideline on. Take away a touch, bring in nice little curve. And then we can now separate the monorail out onto its own line again. We can bring it across here, and then let it go straight across, because we do have a monorail connection ready to bring in from this point, so we can now allow this to flow over here, where we're going to want to connect through. I think it'd be nice to generate some more layers of transport height as we cross over the rail, so let's have a look at that. We'll lose some rock decals, but not the end of the world. Alright, and then this can now flow through and connect everyone into the monorail, which is good. So that's one method of public transport already ticked off. And we'll then grab a one-way road, feed that into the roundabout again. Now let's go for a content creator road here. Maybe, I think possibly American Trust is always a firm favourite at this point, isn't it? We'll actually draw this out ourselves. And then we'll elevate at this point, and then we want to cross over the ditch by a distance of 13. That's going to give us no pillars in the middle. And then again, we'll just check this descent. That's 1220. So we can repeat that on this side as well, to the best of our ability, which will be 1240. And then we just want to expose that second stone pillar. So we'll just terraform out a little bit more around there. Fantastic. And then we'll just let this meander. Come in with a curve tool. And get a nice connection into the national road network here. And that's going to be fantastic. Probably want to spin this one around as well. There we go. And then we can take this road off now. Wonderful. And then the final road connection is going to be over here. And I think we'll go for industrial road on this side. And let this, again, just meander alongside the river. And make sure that we're aligning with the road guideline of the runways. So it's going to run nice and parallel toward it. And we can get some nice curves in. Let's come onto a little bit of freeform now. And back onto our straight. Okay. And then we'll prepare the highway connection from this point. Again, I think I'm happier to use the American Trust Bridge here. Okay, and then we'll switch back into that 4-lane industrial material. And just allow it to come around. And then likewise over here as well. Again, every time we come to a new runway, let's draw in a straight piece for us to connect to. And then get those nice curves in. Okay, and then one more here, which hooks into the cargo network, or the cargo hub. And then one more curve in. And then we'll let this road here now continue to flow as a one-way system. I was just wondering, do we actually want this as one-way? Do we want to let them come back out? Because we'll probably have another highway connection in here as well. Because the cargo airport can draw in a fair amount of traffic when it wants to as well. So let's see what's going to happen. Let's take away these rail lines for a minute. Okay. And then we'll let this one-way network continue to flow through the airport complex. eventually hooking in with the international airport. And then we can bring this down onto that road guideline. And now everyone is happy and connected. Fantastic. Okay. And then we can trim off that initial holding frame as well. We might build some airport maintenance out here. Use some of the oil industry assets. Especially these little storage units, right? Almost as like kind of mini hangars, or maybe some of the crude tanks to maybe function as some kind of jet fuel storage. Plenty of ideas for decorating an airport we can get involved with today. Okay, but that's going to kind of box in the airport complex with this road network today. And of course we don't want to forget about our little aviation club, so we can bring up connection here, and hook that in. And come off the road guideline, and just right up there. Wonderful. And I probably don't want any traffic lights here either. Could get to the point where we want this as a roundabout, which will need a little bit of terraforming. I think as well we're also going to key off the whole airport island as well, which will be really nice to snap into a little bit of road guideline. This town, does it want a shoreline? We should have one here. Yeah, there we go. So we can kind of maintain this aesthetic all the way around the rivers that sit on the airport, okay? Which I think will look quite nice once it's repeated all around this side. Wonderful. Okay, so I'll get the rail lines back into their trench, get the monorail flowing around, and we can hopefully start to see some people arrive at Noveria's International Airport. Okay, so we have some activity and some money in the bank finally, after letting the game play for a little bit. This is the problem of playing on one speed, everyone. I constantly run out of money. Especially when I mess about with placing uniques everywhere. Soon burn through the cash reserves. But we have some cargo arriving at the cargo airport hub, which is good. We can see some cargo people heading out here. Looks like they're going to head back onto the highway from here, which is nice. So we'll definitely want to give them a connection onto the highway here as well, just to speed up that process. Okay, and some people arriving from the international airport as well. I think there's definitely opportunities for toll booths to sit along this road as well. Possibly on this one too. And our monorail lines are flowing now as well. Here we go. There's one of them. Nice little curve as they come into the airport too. Quite a fan of that. It's very nice. We did something similar with Palavan's airport, but used 2 monorail stops either side. But I'm very much a fan of the pyramid of safety. And the business park uniques to sandwich a monorail station here as well. Lots of people arriving already too, which is good. So a few of them driving. So it'll be interesting to see how much traffic the underground metro systems will siphon out of the monorail. Oh yes, look at this. All the airport people arriving, immediately taking the monorail. Yes please everyone. Hey, look at them, hordes. Hordes of airport ants, things we'd love to see. Yeah, all heading straight for the monorail. Very, very busy. I wonder if it's actually worth adding in a couple of more monorail carts onto this line. There's 197 at this stop now, which is immediately climbing as more people enter in. There is a fair few empty carts on this line, so it probably doesn't need them just yet, but very exciting. And the metro will help take some of the pressure off of that station as well. Yeah, look at them, crammed in. Monorail sardines. And there they go. Exciting. Very exciting indeed. Okay, so let's work on the road network that's now going to flow into the international airport. So I think we'll downgrade this into a nice little treed road because we don't need the monorail to come down this way anymore. And then let's make this the one-way system that flows in. And then we can probably bring off a road from this point now as well. And we'll definitely want some kind of car parking decal to come through here as well. So we'll make room for that. Although this monorail pillar is going to have to move. So we'll want to come off the guideline. And I'm looking for those back-to-back 4x4 spaces. Yeah, so that's going to be fine. Let's get that monorail hooked in. And of course, I'll always mention it for those that don't know how to do it. Set yourselves up a little green cities district. Give it the organic and local produce specialization. And then you want to repeat a 2x2 zoning in this fashion, which will have a chance of generating you a car park to eventually fulfill a pattern that looks like this, which is going to be wonderful for helping to detail our airports, okay? And we can maybe bring in a couple of these patterns around the airport today as well. Lots of car parking, something you see around a lot of airports. Fantastic. But I think I'm happy with the flow. Let's make sure our highway interchange over here isn't choking. Everyone seems to be happy enough, I think. Flowing in a multitude of directions. Of course, once we connect in this side of the highway as well, it will alleviate the pressure off of this one. So I think I'm definitely a fan of the look of this bird's eye view from the top of the car parks with the monorail line flowing through it. So we'll probably duplicate on this side as well. So we'll just remeasure. We'll go for 600 by 240, isn't it, from this node right here. So again, we'll shatter this monorail line. Maintain that symmetry. And then we'll just extend this green cities district. So we can continue to place in those car parking assets. But let's also work on getting the metro systems hooked in. So we'll come out with a little curve tool. And curve it to this one. So I don't think we'll end up using the bottom metro station. I just don't need that much metro hooked in. Now where do we want to hook you into? A direct line into the downtown would be tremendously helpful. We also have a platform free on the downtown metro plaza. So I think that's what we'll do. And then that will complete the metro line. So that's going to help serve people as a direct access into that downtown skyline. However, if they want to get around several smaller areas, they also have the monorail station to help them do that. And there will eventually be a train station in this area as well. So I'm thinking now we have the road network that is going to hold these car parks. Why don't we have a look at the possible placement of another unique? We do have the Posh Mall. Don't think I want that over here though. I think we'll maybe go for the Grand Library maybe. Now let's bring this road down and behind, because I think I probably want it facing out into the entrance of the airport. A little bit something like that. It's an asset that works quite nicely with the Metropolitan Airport as well. Quite a similar colour scheme, some nice sharp angles on it. It's going to complement it well, I think. And it's going to sit nicely as part of our wider airport complex. Let's start to talk about the introduction of some tourism zoning. I think again I'm just going to specialise another little district to sit alongside the Green Cities one here. Let's push this down around. Nice to have some hotels near the airport, I think. Might use plop the growables to refine the assets, but we'll let some organic zoning happen. See what happens. Let's give it tourism. And then we'll zone up with some kind of mass commercial shapes and then just see what develops. I think I'm also quite keen on having the Expo Centre perhaps occupy a little bit of space over here. So why don't we see what we can do? I think I want some maybe symmetrical parks to maybe occupy space over this side. So let's see if we can do that. Looks like they're going to fit in quite nicely here. We can hook into that road network too. And let's grab our Expo Centre. How about we place it just off centre and then allow the road network to continue to hook into these spaces, and we can possibly bring in another park asset here. So the Expo Centre is surrounded by some nice open green area as these hotels begin to appear. Let's see what we think. It's always a tricky one to use, the tourism stuff. But I'm not hating it, I'll be honest. I think it's okay. It's mainly these assets here I don't like. These kind of thin grey ones. As we get two spawning in next to each other, of course. But these ones aren't too bad, right? A little collection of hotels. I also think some nightlife wouldn't really go amiss around here either. We do get nightlife near airports in the UK, especially around Manchester Airport. There's quite a famous bar at Manchester Airport where you can kind of see the planes coming and going. Let's make sure that these are watered. And then down here as well. Wonderful. Okay, so a train station. Let's weigh up our options. So we could go for one of the multi-platforms that come with After Dark, but I think this is a little bit overkill. There's already a ton of public transport here. So we'll probably bring in one of the content creator ones, maybe. We could go for the glass box, but again, it's multi-platform. We just don't need it. So why don't we have a look at one of the overground ones, perhaps? So this one has 4 platforms. I think this will do actually quite nicely for what I'm after. This one over here. So we'll place it there for right now. But I think I definitely want it sat within this space here. And again, lots of nice open green belt around the back of this is really going to help accommodate it. And we'll bring this through here. And we'll line that up as our connection point. And then let's place it there. So we are hooked into the road network. This connection can now be severed. And again, we'll want to grab that height with level terrain. And then we'll pause the game temporarily, and then we'll shatter the road connection here so we can then continue this rail ditch that is now flowing around the entire airport complex. So lots of big, chunky rail vibes here. So I don't think we'll allow intercity trains. I think this will just be internal train network, because we don't want to start overloading this rail system. It's already pretty busy around this point. Again, we'll just slope that out just a touch. Let's bring it out to there, and then we'll grab that height. And then we'll come in here with a little bit of slope. That should be okay. And then we'll come straight down. We'll snap to the road guideline of the existing rail network so we can line it up parallel. Now we do have train platforms free in the European area over by the Eggsy River Gardens. Do we have any platforms free left in the downtown station? Yes, we do. It's this middle one that accepts intercity trains, but we do have a platform free here. Yeah, this one's currently not in use, so that's going to be wonderful. We can get train connections directly into both of the high density areas from here as well. A lot of public transport today. Absolutely mega amounts of public transport coming into this area now. And again, let's get these widened out a little bit. And then we'll allow these connect into the downtown area. There is already a train line here, isn't there? Yeah, this runs to over there area, or no area, some area even. I can't remember which ones we have. And there is a platform free here too. But there is already a train line, so we can just let this one stop here and then continue its journey back along this side. Okay, so let's get all the train networks hooked in, and we'll hope to start seeing some trains arrive at this one as well. Okay, so we now have train lines arriving from the European high density area and the main skyline area, alongside metro hooked in underground and monorail as well. So hopefully this will stop essentially anyone from actually driving, which should be a nice time. Lots of rail activity happening around here too. It might get to the point where we need to separate this cargo line out. That might cause it to choke, but we'll keep our eye on it and see what happens. It is coping for the time being anyway. It's these junctions here that are giving me a little bit of a squeaky bum, but we should be okay. We'll see what happens. So I did mention I want some nightlife over here as well. I'm also keen on maybe including, or maybe not. I was about to say maybe some residential, but way too loud over here. Okay, and then we'll bring down the same district over this side too. And I think I'm going to specialize this as nightlife. And we can now just allow the road network to hold. Do you not have water? No, you don't. So bring this down and over here. I'll keep everyone watered. And then again, I'm happy for some organic nightlife districts to grow from this point as well. And there's plenty of opportunity for walking pathways and little bits of detailing to happen around this point. There's also the Theatre of Wonders unique, which might work nicely here as well. But I think I'd want this on its own little kind of private road network so we can just space it off of those main roads. And how about we place it here? Just as something of a centerpiece for this open courtyard that sits outside the International Airport Terminal. Okay. Not too bad. Let's wait for these nightlifes to go up. So now, interesting to see that a bunch of our international airport customers are heading towards the train stations. Instead of using the metro, which is always a nice little public transport experiment thing, isn't it? Very interesting indeed. See how many people are arriving here as well. Quite a few. But the important thing here is that basically very few, if any at all, are choosing to drive, which all alleviates the pressure on these road networks around here. So fairly happy with that, I think. However, guys, that does feel like a good place for a detailing time-lapse. We have a vast amount of dead space to fill. We're going to come into the airports and continue to flesh out with some vanilla walking path aligned on that road guideline, just to help serve as some kind of light illumination during the night time on the approach to the runways. So we'll do a little bit of that between all the landing strips. Bring in some of those oil assets that we talked about at the start. We don't actually need the industrial area over here to place these, so we'll definitely use some of these. And then just decorate up the front of our little aviation strip here as well. Key off the whole of the rivers around the edge of the airport. Decorate up our little roundabout as well with perhaps a NAX flower detailing. And lots of ore fence around the rail trenches. And yeah, we'll probably bring in a connection into the highway over here as well. But otherwise, let's detail it up, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, likes, comments and shares below really help me out. Equally as much if you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. Really happy with this, an absolutely enormous airport complex, much bigger than Palaven's was. And some numbers, the international airport seems to be drawing the most of the tourist traffic. It's hovering around 1,000 to 1,500 passengers a week, and the metropolitan airport hovers around 700, so it looks as though the AI actually favours the international airport for air travel, which is quite interesting. But otherwise, lots of nice mix of tourism, nightlife and green cities commercial zoning to help complement this thing. And we did end up using some of those industrial assets to help detail the airfield. And I've also dropped in the Statue of Wealth opposite the Aviation Club as well. Do hang around for the rest of the outro tag. There was a absolute ton of detailing you guys wouldn't have seen, and this thing should hold quite a special view over to that very distant nighttime skyline as well. Otherwise, I will shut up and I will leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.